welcome back to the channel. So today we will be solving this PwC interview question in PySpark. Basically the same problem we have solved in SQL also. You can find the link in the description section, right? Okay. So here we have been given this one input table and one output table, or we need to generate this output, right, out of this input. Okay. So let's read out the task. Retrieve the information about the consecutive login streaks for employees who have logged in for at least two consecutive days. Okay, so we have this logging data, and we need to find which all are the employee who have logged in for two or more days. So this will be the condition, right? This will be the filtering condition, right? Okay, so let's read the rest of the question. So for each employee, provide the employee ID, number of consecutive days logged in, okay, and start time, and so basically not start time, start date of streak and end date of streak. So basically these are the four column which we need, right? Employee ID, start date, like when the streak started for that consecutive thing, and how many total number of days the employee was like consecutively logged into the office, right? So if you see from 5th to 6th of January, so date is 2, like there is 2 consecutive days. Similarly from 2 to 3, 2, and similarly from 5th to 7, that is 5th, 6th, 7, so the count is 3, and we have here. So this is what we need to find out, right? So how we can approach this problem? This is a very important problem. You will learn a lot of things. We will solve this in a very creative way, right? So if you see here, we only need the record where the flag is yes. So what this flag column is, let me explain what this flag column is. So N means employee has not logged into the office, or we can say that employee didn't go to the office. And if wherever you see the Y, that is employee has logged into the office, logged in, right? Logged into the office. So what we can say, like we don't want this N record wherever the flag is N, we don't want. Why we don't want? Because we want to find the consecutive thing only for the record where the flag is Y, right? Where the flag is Y. So what can be our first step? So first step, what we can do, we can remove those record, right? And then we'll see what we can do next. So let me do that quickly, right? Okay. Now, if you see, we don't have any record where the flag is N, right? All the record we have with flag Y, right? And let's see how we can get this output, right? So if you see this, like employee came on 3rd, but there is no record for 4th, so the consecutive day is 1. Similarly, for this employee came on 7th, there is no record for 8th or 6th, so the consecutive day is 1. But if you see for this employee with ID 2, employee came 2 consecutive days. Okay, so employee 2, if you can see, he came 2 consecutive days, right? 2 and 3rd. So you can say that count is 2. Similarly, if you see here also, the employee came, like employee didn't come on 4, and then again he came for 5, 6, and 7. So the count is 3. And employee 3 also, he came consecutively on 2 days, that is 5 and 6. So the count is 2. Now if you see here, we read, right? We read that we need only the record where the count is like the consecutive count should be more than 2, right? More than or equal to 2. So if you see, this record doesn't qualify, this record also doesn't qualify, these 3 record qualifies, right? So these 3 are here, right? So if you see for this one, we have the min is 2, max is 3. So that's why start is 2 and end is 3. Similarly, for record 10, like for the ID 103, if you see, min is 5 and max is 6. So if you see here, min is 5, max is 6 for ID 103. So this is how we derive this output. And let's see how we can solve this, right? Let's see how we can solve this. if you see, I have created 3 columns over here. So let's see how we can fill these columns, right? Okay. So since we know here we need the consecutive days, right? So can we create a row number column? Can we create a row number column over here? Right? Row number column, and let's see how it will help us, right? And how we will create the row number column. Let's see. One, this will be one, this will be two, and this will be three. Is this correct? No, this is not correct. Why it is not correct? If you see here, if you see here, these things we need at the ID level, employee ID level, right? Right. So this will be not three, right? This will not be three. Why? Because we need the things on ID level. So what we will do, we will create the partition. We will create the partition by employee ID. Partition by employee ID. We will write the like row number on the ID, like primary on the employee ID column, right? So let's write that. So this will start over again. So this will be one, this will be two. Similarly, this will not be three, this will be one, right? Again, um, okay, no. So this will be three only because the ID is same, three, four, five, and this will not be six. This will be one, and this will be two, right? So now we have created the ID, basically the row number. So this will help us in creating the unique group for each consecutive days that we will see. Okay, now we have created the row number. What is the next step? So in this approach in which we are solving the problem, we will need a day column, right? And I will show you how this will help us, right? Okay, so we will extract the day from this log date column. Okay, so what is day part of this? It is three, right? It is three. Um, okay, this is three. Similarly, what is day part of this? Seven, right? Similarly, what is day part is two, three, and here it is five, six, because all the data are of January, right? 7, and here it will be 5 and 6, right? Now we have the row number and we have the day. What we can do in the next step? What we can do, we can find the difference between day and day and RN. So this will give us the group. This will give us the group that we will see. So let me do it quickly. Then we will see how this is helping us, right? So let's see. 3 minus 1 is 2, right? 5 minus 2 is 7 minus 2 is 5, right? 7 minus 2, it's 5. Similarly, here if you see 2 minus 1 is 2, 3 minus 2 is 3 minus 2 is 1. Similarly, here if you see 5 minus 3 is 2, here 6 minus 4 is 2, and here 2, and here it is 4 and 4. Now we have the group also. Now I will explain you what was the aim for creating these columns. Let me explain you. Okay. So these two columns helped us to derive this column, right? So let me explain you how this will help. Now, since we know we will have to group the data on employee ID, right? So this employee ID and this one group, this is creating one consecutive day streak. Similarly, this employee ID and this group, this is creating one more consecutive day streak. Similarly, if you see here, these employee ID and this group, this is creating one consecutive streak group, right? If you see here, 2, 3 of the same month. Similarly, if you come here for this ID, again we have a consecutive like 5, 6, 7, and here we have 2, 2, 2. Similarly, if you come here, we have 5, 6. These two are consecutive, and we have 4, 4. That means we can group the data with the help of these two columns. We can group the data, we can apply the group by on EMP and this group column, right? EMP ID and group column. So you can find the SQL solution also. There we have used group by and everything, like, right? And here we are solving in PySpark, right? So we will have to use the window function and all those things. That we will see how we can write the code. So let's jump to the Databricks and solve this problem, right? Okay. So now if you see, we are in our uh, Databricks notebook, and let me run this. Okay, now we have here the Spark session created, and this is the data. I will provide this create data frame statement in the description section. You can try it out by yourself also, right? So let us create that. Okay, now here we are creating the data frame. Okay, so the interesting part over here is if you see log date, this is the string, like the default, or we can say that the like Spark has read this as the string, right? This as the string, but we don't want in a string format. We want this to be in a which format? Date format, right? So let's convert this. Let's convert this because string will not help us, right? So let me import the required things. So from PySpark dot SQL dot functions import, we need toDate, right? So with the help of toDate, we can convert a string column to the date time column. So this is the step. So let me write again the df dot with column, and we can have the same name, right? We don't want any extra column. So what is the name of the column? toDate, right? So we can have as it is toDate, and we can write here to toDate of which column? Today log date column, right? And since we are using call over here, so we again need to import here and run it again. And let's now df dot print schema and see the schema now after converting this into a date column. Okay, now if you see the here it is in the date, but if you see earlier it was in string, right? So let's print the data and see how it looks. Okay, we have made a mistake. Okay, let me print this and then I will show you what is the mistake. See, we are getting null everywhere, right? We are getting null. Why? Because we have not given the format in which we want to print the data, right? We want to convert this data. So what is the order? What is the order? If you see, this is day, dd, yy. So let's give here dd, yy, right? And let's run these things again because it will create a issue if we don't run it. And you need to comment down why it will create issue because, right, this is simple to understand. Okay, let me run this again. Okay, now if you see, there is no null, we have the data, proper data, right? Okay, so what is the next step? As we saw over here, we need to create first the row number, right? So let's do that quickly. So df, I name it as rn, and the name of the df is df only. So df dot, as we know, I have told this in our previous video also, wherever we need to create a new column, we use with column, right? With column, and let's give the name as rn only, right? And we can have row number dot row number dot over, and we need to create the window dot partition by partition by, we need to partition the data on which column? Employee ID. You guess it right. Employee ID dot order by, on which column? Flag. No, it's not flag. It's log date column, right? Log date column. And let's print the data. You need to comment down whether at this point this code will, if I run this, it will throw an error or it will run it successfully. See, we got error. So okay, this time it is typo, but let me see where we have made mistake. Okay, this bracket needs to be closed, and there is one more issue that I will show you. Okay, okay, okay. We have made one mistake. So like we have generated the row number here only, but we forgot this step. Basically, before generating the row number, we need to uh, filter out the unwanted data. That is the record where the flag is n. So let's copy paste this things over here. This is the next step. I forgot that. Okay, let me write that. df equal to df dot. This is very easy, right? Filter call which column? We need flag column. Flag should be yes, right? So this is what we need in, and let's print also. So this is our first step. So we will have to run these things again. So let's run this, create df again, and okay, have we converted? So let's convert this also, and then this also, and now let's run this. Now we should not get any record where there is a flag y, right? So let's okay. Now if you see where we don't have any such record. Okay. Now what is the next step? Next step is creating the row number. So let's create this. Okay. Now if you see we have the row number. These two, 1, 2, and then similarly for this ID, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, right? So now we have the row number. What is the next step? What is the next step? And we are not getting error, like we are using the window and all those things, right? And we are not getting error, so that's strange because I have solved this like before this in the same no notebook. That's why. So let's import that also from PySpark.sql import window, right? And we are using the row number. Similarly, we will need sum, min, max, and count, right? So these all are the things which we need. Okay, now we have data till this point, like we have generated the row number. Now the next is extracting the day. Okay, so how we can extract the day? For extracting the day, we have a function called day of month, right? Day of month. Let's run it. Okay, so now let's create the date. So df rn comma day, and we can have df rn dot win with column, and we need to name this as day. Let's have underscore also here, and we can write day of month of which column? Log date, right? And let's print this df rn day dot show. Let me run this. Okay, now you can see we have the 3 over here from here, 7 over here, so on and so forth, 6 from here to here, right? Okay, now we need to create what? Group. If you see here, we have achieved these, like this row and this column and this column. Now we need this column, that is creating a group. So let's do that quickly. So df, let's name this as group, is equal to df df rn date dot with column. Why with column? Because we are creating a new column. So let's give them a name as group, comma, and we need to find the difference between day minus column rn, right? And let's print the df group, right? Dot so. Okay. Okay. Now if you see, we have a group, right? 2511222244. Let's see here also. 2511222244. Okay. Now we have achieved the correct output, right? So what is the next step? As I told you earlier also, Now the next step is grouping the data, like grouping the employee ID and this group, right? So let's do that quickly. So df, and this is the uh, like second last step before we get our required output. So df answer equal to df, I think group, right? Because the last df was df group only. Okay, df group dot, we need to group the data. So group by, on column, let's write quickly. So the column will be emp id, right? We want to group the data on emp id, and then we want to have the group column also. Group. Okay, these two are done, and then we need to write the aggregation. So we want min, why min? Because we need to find the start date. So log date, and we can alias this. We can give the alias to this column as start date. This is simple, right? And then, so for each consecutive day, so basically this step we are doing. So if you see here, these two, uh, for the same ID, here we are finding the min and max. So 2 and 3. So 2 will be min and 3 will be the max for the same month and same year, right? So this will be min, and let's copy paste the same thing to find the max also. So here we can write max, and instead of start date, we can have end date. And the next thing, what is the next thing? Next thing is finding the count, right? Finding the count for the each group. So here we found the count as 1. So similar, right? Here we found the count as 1. Here it is 1. Here it is 2. Similarly, here it is 3. Here it is 2. And we want only the record where the count is more than 1, right? More than 1. So that we can write here count, and we cannot write count 1 as, and alias this as consecutive day. If I run this now, this will throw error. Why? Because in SQL we can do this, but here we need, there are multiple ways to do this, but I'm using this lit, right? And since we are using lit, so we will have to import lit over here. So let me import lit over here, and let's run this. So whenever we import, so I prefer this thing. So I import all the things at one place, and I keep on using them, right? So we can do this instead of this. What we can do, we can, okay, we can do star also. But the disadvantage of this is it will take a lot of time, and since this is not a best practice also, importing each and every function over here only. So what I do, wherever I need like any function, I just keep on importing at one place, right? So we have imported lit also. So let's run this and print the data. So df answer dot so. Let me run this. Okay, now we have the consecutive days. So if you see, for ID 1 we have 1 1, for ID 2 we have 2 3, and for ID 3 we have 2. And this is what we saw over here also, right? 1 1 2 3 2, right? So here also 1 1 2 3 2. Okay. Now the next step is, we don't want the record where the consecutive days is 1, right? We need only the record where the consecutive days 2 or equal to 2, like 2 or greater than 2, right? So we can write the filter here also, right? So we can have this as df final, right? Df final equal to df answer dot filter, and we want only the record where, consecutive day, this consecutive day is greater than or equal to what? 2, right? And then let's run this. So df final dot so. Let me run this. Okay, now we have employee ID, start date, end date, consecutive date. But if you see, we are having the group also. So we can select the group from here. So dot select, and we want like whichever column we want, we can write over here. We want this column and start date column. Okay, and then we want end date column. We can write here end date, and then we need consecutive day column, right? So let's write that also, and here only let's write so also, right? Let me. So this is the final step. Okay, we are getting error, syntax error. Okay, we have not put dot over here. Let me run this. Okay, now if you see, we have the required output, right? So if you see for employee 103, he came from for on 5th and 6th, and if you see here, we have the in output 5th and 6th. Similarly for the other record also. So yes, if you like this content, please do like, subscribe, and share the channel. You can find a lot of interview related stuff on this channel. So you can check out that also. And let's meet in the next problem. Until then, bye.